Hey everyone, Will2926 here with our first review of the channel and to celebrate our first 100 subscriber milestone. Today we'll be taking a look at the 2018 Vision Line Union Pacific Challenger number 3985. To start this video off, I want to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel. It's an incredible feeling hitting our first 100 subscribers. When I started this channel up about a month ago, I had no idea that we'd be hitting our first 100 this fast. I just want to say I'm thankful for our community and I hope all of you continue to enjoy the content, and especially for the future. We're currently planning our next reviews and train trips, so definitely be on the lookout for more reviews and videos. A brief history on the 3985. The locomotive was designed by the Union Pacific and built in 1943 by the American Locomotive Company. It is one of 105 Challengers built for the Union Pacific between 1936 and 1943 and was for many years the only operating steam locomotive of its class in the world. At one point it was the largest and most powerful operating steam locomotive in the world. However, with the restoration of Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014, that title now belongs to Big Boy. The Challenger was given to steam locomotives with a 4-6-6-4 wheel arrangement. This means that they have 4 wheels in the leading pilot truck, which help guide the locomotive into curves, 2 sets of 6 driving wheels, and finally 4 trailing wheels, which support the rear of the engine and its massive firebox. The Challengers were mainly designed for fast freight service, but occasionally they did pull passenger trains like the Rocky Mountain Railroad Club excursion in 1953, pulled by Challenger locomotive number 3967. 3985 originally was a coal-burning engine, however in 1990 it was converted to oil. The top speed of the 3985 measured around 70 miles per hour. The only other remaining Challenger is number 3977, which is on display at North Pratt, Nebraska. I found this model in the TCA Quarterly back in 2020. I was at my buddy Larry Levin's house, or Leapin' Larry on the OGR forum, and we both called Eastside Trains to discuss this model. I was hesitant at first of purchasing this model because I was told that the locomotive has some flaws from the factory. Originally, both sets of driving wheels were synchronized and the sound file only had 4 thrusts per revolution. However, I was able to get in touch with a good friend of mine, Bruk, and he and the Eastside Trains team went to work to correct these issues with the locomotive. This locomotive now has no issues, and a big shout out and thanks to Eastside Trains and Bruk for all of their help with this locomotive. Taking a closer look at the locomotive, there is a separately applied coupler cut bar right here. This section of the cowcatcher does rotate, and then underneath there is a scale coupler that can be swung out. Now this scale coupler can be swapped out with a dummy O-gauge coupler for double heading. There is a lighted headlight right here, and then both on the right and left side of the locomotive there are lighted number boards. There is a walkway right here that has safety tread right in front of the boiler front, and the boiler front can actually be open just like that. And on the inside of the boiler front reveals a lot of the electronics that go towards the headlights, marker lights, and then also to the stacks. And that's held in with a magnet. Starting at the front of the locomotive, we're going to talk a little bit about the separately applied details. There's a bunch of hose detail both on the fireman's side and the engineer's side that is separately applied. On both sides there are builder's plates that are legible with the magnifying glass. Now this locomotive does have 2 different smoke units. You have your front smoke unit up here which controls the smokestack, and then also the whistle steam, and then towards the rear of the locomotive there's another one that controls the dynamo and the injector. To add smoke fluid for your front stacks, for your smokestack and your whistle, you just need to put your funnel in either of the stacks, and that'll provide smoke fluid for both your smokestack and your whistle. Moving a little bit down, you have your dynamo right here. All you need to do to add smoke fluid for your dynamo and your injector steam, just remove the dynamo, stick your funnel into the hole here, add your smoke fluid, and then you just need to put your dynamo on like it takes a little bit of skill. Like that. Taking a closer look at the fireman's side near the cab, there is a movable hatch right here that can be opened and closed. The windows also can be open and closed. This is the open position. We have the closed position now here. There are both a fireman and an engineer. We'll take a look at the engineer side in just a minute. And there is also a drop plate that pretty much connects the gap between the locomotive and the tender. Look on the engineer side of the cab. Now we're going to start here at the cab windows. The cab windows actually do not extend all the way towards the back right here. This is in its closed position, and to move the cab windows you just have to push it forward like that. Here's the engineer figure. He is beautifully painted from Lionel. And then taking a look at how Lionel painted the 3985 and then also the Union Pacific that's right on the tender. It's not in a crisp white, which actually I prefer. It's more of in a subdued gray. So you can see here the 3985 and then all the data that Union Pacific put on its locomotive, like 4664. It's in this very subdued gray color, which I actually really like. And then down here is where the injector steam actually comes from. If you look at the 3985 tender, starting here on the fireman side, there is a readable builder's plate right here. And then just like I mentioned a little while ago, the Union Pacific is in this very subdued gray color, which I actually really enjoy. The caps here on each of the trucks are painted in the silver paint. And then here on the very top, none of these hatches right here are movable, but once you get towards down here, this hatch is where you can access your volume control knob, and that is pretty much where you can control the volume specifically for the tender. And then to put it back, you just held down by magnets, just like that. And then these hatches right here are also movable. There's no added switches or anything like that underneath each of these hatches, and then you can just close them like that. Taking a look at the rear of the tender, you have lighted headlights here, marker lights here and here, and then your reverse light right here. Now these marker lights can be turned off using the aux2 key, and then your rear headlight will only be turned on when the locomotive is in reverse. And one of the cool things that Lionel did add is the tender's capacity when it comes to water and fuel, and it reads 23,500 gallons for water and then 6,000 gallons for fuel, which is actually a pretty neat feature. Here's the whistle for the locomotive. Here's the bell. Here's the engineer to the tower.
3985 at Green River. Our inspection's complete and we are ready to depart. Over.
You are clear through my limits. Over.
We're good to go. Thanks for the good move. Out.
Here's tower to the locomotive.
Yard office to the 3985. You are clear to depart on signal indication.
We're good to go. Thanks for the good move. Out.
Here's the locomotive being filled up with water.
My water's full. Over.
Copy that.
Here's the locomotive being filled up with oil.
Full. Over.
Copy that.
Here's the blowdown sound. And one of the really cool features that Lionel added is the dynamo feature, which is activated by pushing the aux3 key. Now when you turn off the headlights, it turns off the dynamo. However, when you turn back on the lights and everything, you'll hear the high-pitched buzzing sound of the dynamo as the headlights and everything light up. Let's do that one more time. Well, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment, and then definitely be on the lookout for more reviews in the future. This is Will2926. Take care.
Copy that. You are clear to depart east on signal indication. Over.
Thank you. Taking the signal. Out. Pacific 3985. We're tied down and marking off. Out.